All right, everybody, welcome back. Sam's Army match week. Well, international break, and we still got a lot to talk about though. So we'll start with the Premier League, where we will run through an abbreviated weekend highlighted by Newcastle, giving hope to all the little guys. Asterisk out there. Halftime, we will hit a pop quiz this week. Round the world, USMNT preview. We got a big week ahead with Nations League starting on Thursday's semifinal against Panama, and then stoppage time with, of course, Ivan Toney's best bets and everyone's favorite segment, especially Mikey, GOAWs. Now, time to welcome in this week's panel of beauties, and no surprise who is not here this week, as Tyler Terens went and booked himself a full week of US Open Cup assignments strictly and exclusively and proactively so he could avoid facing the music for Liverpool's no good, very bad nightmare week that was. So we'll still give him plenty of shit this week, and of course he'll catch some next week as well. But for who is here, we have we'll start with, let's go with Mikey Fowler. Loves going first.
Please read my name. It's the Ghost of Tyler Terens.
Okay, that's right. Mikey's actually going to step in here and hopefully offer some. What did you say?
It's fine. It's fine. We're winning the Premier League with Arne Slot. First year, savior.
There you go. You got a little happy dance too. Do the happy dance because he's definitely.
I'm not mad.
Right now.
Do not put in the newspaper that I got mad.
Oh, hashtag not mad. Now I actually do have a question for you here, Mikey. Walk us through your recent Instagram. I think it was just one post, maybe it was multiple Instagram post of sketchy looking ATMs. What was the inspiration here? Is this going to be like a series?
No, I've been doing it. Those are old. I've been taking pictures of, I don't know if there's any children listening, but I call them, I was going to start an Instagram account called Coke ATMs, where guys only take out money to buy cocaine. And every time I walk by a shady one, I would just take a picture of it. That's an accumulation. I have like 40. That was my favorite 7 or 8. So I never ended up launching the account, but I thought it would have had legs where people would tag at Coke ATMs and take pictures of bad ATMs around the city. So
listen, I liked it. I liked it, and it sounds like you got more material. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for round 2.
Apologies for bringing up drugs within 3 minutes of the.
Children, say no to drugs. Mitch, your question similar. Do you feel as though Mikey's sort of mowing your lawn here on your love of doors and Instagram posts?
No, I do love the kind of gallery collection idea behind anything. I've done the same thing with rogue shoes that I see on the side of the road as well. Like, what's your story? Especially if it's only one, too. Like, a pair of shoes, fine. One shoe, interesting. No, I don't feel like he's stepping on my toes. I'm more than happy to users submit some ATMs that I've seen in my area that I think fit the description. I'm all for it.
There we go. I like it. We got a lot more, artistic artistry on this podcast than even I realized. With Ghost of Tyler Terens there, long time known as an emo photographer, and Mitch. I didn't know that about you until I saw the doors, and then of course Tommy. We all know about his photography as well. You all right there, Mitch? Didn't like me calling
our first death on the pod.
Didn't like me calling him an artist there. I don't know if Tyler. I will never call myself an artist. Although
Tyler's writing a book. That's art.
And he's writing, right? Exactly. All right.
I don't know.
Everybody.
Has anybody read any of it?
No, but he's given us little snippets, and I think it is time for another update. So we'll have to get that next week.
Something I realized the other day, I looked at my Instagram story settings, and I had realized I had Sam blocked on my story because at one point months ago, you kept asking Mikey about his Instagram stories, and I was like, I don't want this, so I just blocked you from being able to see my Instagram story.
And Am I unblocked? Am I back?
Yeah, you've recently been unblocked. Keep that privilege.
Oh, I'm going to abuse that so bad. I'm going to abuse that. All right. Now, before we get to England and Newcastle, Liverpool, and perhaps Tottenham at some point, unfortunately, quick shout out to our sponsors for this week's episode, which is brought to you by Kickit, the world's best all-in-one soccer tennis set. Go to kickit.net and use code SAM25 to get ready for summer officially. All right, England, where we had an abbreviated slate because of the League Cup final. So we had the first trophy handed out for this season, and it was Liverpool versus Newcastle at Wembley. Mighty Newcastle. They've been dominant all season. Came into this game fresh off of a hugely disappointing Champions League outing against let's be honest, a very good PSG side, which took them down. And not only that, so they got bounced from the Champions League. And reminder, set the stage here. Ghost of Tyler probably will in just a moment. But Tyler has been basically dancing on all of our graves, especially me, all season, doing his little goddamn happy dance, always talking shit about everybody. Mightier than or holier than thou from his little white castle in the sky. And oh boy, this week brought him down a couple pegs. So the Newcastle game itself, they lost. It ended up being 2-1. Newcastle went up 2-0, held on to that for most of the game. Liverpool, honestly, just looked tired to me. But I'm going to throw this one to the closest thing we have to Tyler Terens on the program, the ghost of himself. So Mikey / Ghost of Tyler Terens, what were your thoughts on the game and Liverpool's performance?
Listen, man, I don't want to be the only person on the show that reiterates what happens on the internet, but Mo Salah's finals have been under scrutiny.
Oh, just a little.
Well, first of all, you can't say anything. His only goals against you. But it felt like they didn't care. And I think if you ask Liverpool fans, they won't care as much as it meant. Like the team that wants it more usually wins a final. The sense of, we really need this, that we'll find a way to get it done. And it just felt like Liverpool weren't up for it. Like simple as that. Like Newcastle were much more up for it.
One thing I'll add to that is the team that wants it more wins if the two teams are within, the confidence interval.
Yeah.
Whereas Newcastle is in that confidence interval with with Liverpool, who is above them. But yeah, they just looked like it felt like they were an extension of their fans, who also, by the way, looked like they wanted it.
They were crazy.
They looked like they needed it. Whereas Liverpool was like, yeah, we want to win. Of course we want to win. Newcastle and their fans looked like they needed it. And they hadn't won something in however many decades, 70 years. So shout out to them, by the way, the fans. I mean, I did my best not to sort of bring up the elephant in the room, which is the fact that, okay, we have this new team. They're finally winning things. It's not the same old Man City. And well, they did just get bought by a goddamn Petro State. So it's like, I never said that. I never did any posts on it, but I was just like, at the same time in the back of my mind, I had that, but I'll leave it there. I'm not going to ruin it any further than that. Mitch, what are your thoughts on the game itself?
Yeah. Echo that main sentiment that they just didn't look up for it. It was in the body language. It was in each challenge. It was in just the energy tracking back going forward. Liverpool did not look like they were there to go win a cup final. They looked like it was a Premier League game on a regular season, like Saturday. It was just, it didn't feel like a cup final performance from them. Whereas Newcastle absolutely felt like they wanted to go out there and win a trophy. Liverpool almost felt like they had assumed that they would win that game because they were the better team on paper. But I still think Guimaraes is a prick. Like, I still have no love for the guy. In the interview after that game, didn't do anything for me.
Nothing? It didn't do anything for you?
That didn't move my emotional needle at all.
I thought that he said, listen, in this day and age, I am jaded about pretty much everything. And so I don't think it like changed anything for him. But at the same time, I don't have the sort of hate boner for Guimaraes as you do. I thought he said exactly what you want to hear from a player on your team, never mind the captain. Like, he just said everything that fans would want to hear. I thought it was an awesome interview.
Exactly. It didn't feel, he said everything that they would want to hear. That, like, he read the script. Good. Congratulations. You're PR trained. Sweet. Still a prick, but in between the 90 minutes.
Mikey wasn't here last week when your hate boner when you
I'm
unleashed on the world.
I know where it came from.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that okay? So you know about
there's a few matches in a row against Newcastle where he was just a diabolical prick.
Yeah, where he's playing MMA, not football. It's the dude is the dude is a danger to himself and mostly others out there. So, but all this to say, I don't want to take away from the fact that Newcastle won that game. They went out and won that game. They did not just survive and advance, and that was a fun one to watch. It probably could have been 3-1, to be perfectly honest. That offside call with the player called offside for being in the view of Kelleher, I don't buy that as a referee. That was really called back pretty quickly. And if it were a closer game, I think that would have fallen under a little bit more scrutiny. But Newcastle just wanted that more.
They did.
How about
They
Dan
came,
Burn too. Ooh.
Yeah. So the backstory on him, I didn't actually know this coming into the game, that he was I think he was with the academy as a kid, then left, and then came back. And he's, obviously a local kid, and then to win this trophy out and score a good goal. It was a very cool goal. Anyway.
Dumb question. Are Nottingham Forest fans upset with Elliot being in the stands?
We got to ask Peaches. Peaches, by the way, the chat is going ham right now with the anti-Liverpool comments. There is a couple.
I would not be upset. The guy left Newcastle because of the money thing that they were going through. I feel weird about it. It's just odd. Like when Ramsdale went to the promotion last year for Southampton, I got it because it was a different league type of thing. But something about, I don't know. I feel weird about Elliot Anderson being on his off day in the away or in the Newcastle fan section. I get it. I'm happy for him. It just, I don't know.
So here's what Peaches in the chat said. It's his boyhood club. He has memories for life. Over the moon for him.
Fair enough.
There you go. It was awesome. Congrats to Newcastle. It's a cool story. I mean, look at it. Look at the opposite. Had Liverpool won that, it would have been so just blasé and boring. And then, and of course, Tyler would be able to hold another thing over our head, which is probably the worst part.
Can we tell the chat why Tyler's not here? It's very funny. I don't know if everybody knows it.
Because he doesn't want to face the music.
No, he's calling. He, at the beginning of the year, chose to, on his own time, call a Luton United game so that we would have him calling a Tommy game. And Tommy didn't travel with the team.
Didn't even travel. Oh, he was not pleased. Not best pleased.
He's real life mad at Tommy right now.
Which I think is fair. Did Tommy ever say why he's not traveling?
No, all he did was correct his typo about the club name.
He just left it. Oh, that's harsh. That is harsh.
Well,
all right.
The real reason why Tyler's not here.
Because he doesn't want to face the music.
No, wrong again. He's been exposed.
Ooh.
For following Raymore Flanagan on Instagram.
That was the most random thing that came out of the
best moment
group
of my
chat.
entire day.
I need you guys to understand. I was just scrolling through Instagram and a Raymore and Flanagan ad pops up and it says followed by Tyler Terens. I was rolling laughing as I sent that to this group chat.
Best thing I've ever seen. He might not ever come back.
Never.
Oh, he was definitely a little shaken by that one. He was. He says, by the way, it was like one of those accidental follows.
Mm-hmm.
He's backed off of that.
And then he later claimed that he got 50% off on an ottoman, proudly, I might add. So which is it? Is it an accidental follow, or do you actually love reasonably priced?
That was actually a good comeback, because he said, to give you the full context, he said you could lick my balls on this ottoman that I got for 50% off, which fair point. I enjoyed that comeback. And by the way, the group chat is actually going off right now. Tommy McCabe. Tyler just said I'm no longer a spring chicken. So they're actually having a fight about this while we're talking about the fight.
No, Tyler on the broadcast must have said Tommy McCabe, who's no longer a spring chicken.
Yep, that's exactly what he said. And Tyler responded, your coach said that. Oh, it's getting spicy. It's getting spicy.
Yeah, this is out of control already. I'm sorry.
I know we're so far gone. All right. So just listen. Newcastle came into this game not just like the underdog and like Newcastle. Liverpool has just been dominating everybody and everything. They were missing all kinds of guys to injury as well. Like it's a great story. I'm actually sorry that I brought up the Petro State comment because it was just a cool story and they deserve this. It's the epitome of what a lot of clubs, Tottenham included, have wanted. I'll be honest and say that if or when we actually win a trophy at some point, I really do hope it's not the League Cup, but that's not to diminish that.
Let's just wait for GOAWs. We'll go over this.
All right, we'll get there. Now let's go to the abbreviated Premier League slate this weekend. So some of the highlights, and again, there was not a full match day worth of games. Some of the highlights / lowlights were Brighton going to Manchester City, playing with them, going toe-to-toe with them, and drawing 2-2. Tottenham going to Fulham, not going toe-to-toe with them, getting our asses handed us 2-0. It could have been more than that. And Southampton losing at home to Wolves 2-1. The only thing I got to say on that is that we have absolutely confirmed there is no relegation battle this season. It is done and dusted. The 3 teams are gone. The 3 that bounced up are bouncing right back down. Now, other games, specifically City and Brighton or Fulham, Tottenham, or you guys, Arsenal took care of business, 1-0, close game. I don't know if taking care of business, I might be putting it a little not right. But Mitch, what was the result that stood out most to you?
Traveled most of Saturday, so I didn't get to watch that slate. But Arsenal 1-0 against Chelsea, took care of business, is probably the okay way to describe that. We went in there, we got 3 points, we left. They were down a Cole Palmer as well, and they had chances for sure, but I liked the way we looked given how healthy we were. It's a point, or it's a 3 points that we needed to stay in second and try to be in the driver's seat for that conversation. Wipe that smirk off your face. Yeah, it was fine.
Okay. I mean, listen, you go to Chelsea and you win, and it's just kind of, brush your shoulder off. I mean, yeah, I think that's a solid win. Ghost of Tyler Terens, anything to add?
Yeah, a few things to call out. Brighton City was great, I thought. Yeah. City's not the control board. City's been a boring club to watch for a few seasons, success away. They're not that anymore. They're wide open.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Not in a good way for them, but
I was super excited and booked out a lot of my Saturday to watch that Bournemouth-Brentford game. Hugely disappointing. Just from a game that I expected to have flashes of real individual skill, just didn't. And then the last thing I want to call out, it seems small. Bruno Fernandes is the best player in the Premier League right now. And nobody's
really? That's a spicy meatball. He's playing well, but you're going to say the best player in the Premier League.
He's the most informed player in the league right now. Who's more hot? Who's hotter?
Well, the go-to obviously be Salah, who is not playing that way right now. So you have us there. Erling Haaland, certainly not. Cole Palmer's cooled off quite a bit. Oh, let's see. Who's hotter at the moment?
Anthony Elanga? No, I don't know.
I saw an uncomfortable graphic comparing him to Ozil with goals, assists, and appearances. It's a conversation for sure.
Yeah, don't share that with me.
Yeah, I know it upset me deeply, but it's a conversation.
That is a good question. How long does this form? How long are we taking into account?
I don't know. Do you want to become a fucking scientist about it or what?
Yeah, kind of, because I want to find some way to undercut your take here. But I don't have anybody off the top of my head that I could say, this person's clearly hotter.
I don't think the Premier League has a player like Dembele that is just head and shoulders in form, in the rest of the league are better than the rest of the league
right now. If you go back a few months, Mo Salah.
There's an Isak case.
Yeah.
I think he's
he's
unbelievable. So yeah, I just wanted to call that out for all the people who say we never talk about United. I need to get out my opinion that Bruno is out of control right now.
and they had a nice, solid sort of, dare I say, just boring win.
Van Nistelrooy's
if
since
you
he
looked
took
at his,
over, that graphic is not nice.
yeah, there's a lot of L's on that. There's like 2 wins, I think, in the whole slate of like
It's
20
how they
games.
started with that.
There was one win in the middle, and one game at the beginning that they won. Other than that, it's just straight up L after L after L.
Wow.
And they are going.
One of their wins was a 2-1 game. You guys remember that one?
Yeah, who'd they play?
Looks like they played Tottenham Hotspur.
Can't remember. God, we are so bad. We are so bad. So you guys didn't even get your shots in on the Fulham game. Like,
it's not worth it.
Yeah, what do you?
You don't want to punch us while we're down?
I'm playing my Ange assistant manager chip, and I'm disgusted.
Well, listen, you reverse jinxed us back into total.
Gross.
I was gonna say mediocrity, but that's way too nice. Into basically the 1/2 step above a relegation battle, which is legitimately where we are right now. This team is just not good. Ange is clearly. He's saving guys for Europa, and it's clear that that's the only thing that matters, and that his job. Do you think that his job hinges on him winning Europa?
Ange?
Yeah.
I mean,
no.
You're not winning a trophy, dummy.
If we win Europa, we're winning a trophy and playing in Champions League.
That's what I'm saying. So if it's dependent on that, he should already sell his house.
I think his job might hinge on that, on winning Europa.
Sure.
I mean, look at the season. Like, it obviously will depend on where we go from here now that we kind of have our guys healthy again. But, he's clearly, resting guys in regular season games for Europa at this point. He's clearly feeling the pressure, by the way. If you saw that, video of him walking down the tunnel and stopping and talking, getting into an argument with fans, you don't do that unless you're sort of right on the verge of sort of losing it.
I mean, when you start snapping on fans, it's the best. That's when I start tuning in.
It's a terrible sign. It is definitely a terrible.
What if he got a red card as my assistant manager chip? Would I be just fucked?
That's a great question. I mean, you have to lose points, right? You have
to.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, though. Any other games or more shots at Tottenham?
Nothing significant enough for me.
You have a humiliation kink that we should know about?
No, I don't think so.
You guys want to tell me my team is shit? No, you guys don't want to take any shots at me?
I figured I would just give you one more, take a shot, because everybody knows we're bouncing back next season.
It's beating a dead horse at this point.
That's sad. We're sad. All right, we will head to so we don't actually have a weekend preview this week. We are in the beloved / dreaded international break at the forefront of it, which Mikey, big fan. So we don't got to talk about FPL. We can head straight to halftime, where we got to give a quick shout out to our peoples over at Arc Designs.
There's guys using Arc Design with their beers watching this right now. So thank you guys.
The Discord is always we've gotten a lot of updates from people who have bought the coasters. They look great. They look fantastic.
Adam just got a chuckle out of me, by the way.
So with Anjin.
Taking a shot at Tottenham is a long-winded way of saying scoring.
God damn, even Everton fans are popping off.
That's a good one.
That stinks. So shout out to Arc Designs, 3D laser engraving. They are a local company, basically Tyler's neighbor in Loveland, Ohio. Give a shout out to Loveland. And they got the best 3D laser engraving coasters for any stadium in the world. Just shoot them the picture of it, and they will handle the rest. So shout out Arc Designs. You can also get, and Arc is spelled ARCK, and then designs.com. You can get 25, or I don't know what the percent off is, but you can get a deal for Sam 25 on their website. So give them a shout. Great company for you.
What would the percentage be if it was Sam 25?
10%.
Who's to say?
It's a sliding scale.
Are you? Am I? You guys are making it. You're in on this joke, right?
Nope. No. I mean, like, is it
25? Sam, 25.
Yeah, but I think that might be 2025, the year 2025. So I don't know.
Nope, it's not. It's 25%.
25% off. Boom. Easy
Oh,
peasy.
hold on. We've been doing this ad read for, I don't know, 10 weeks now. Sam 25 at checkout gets you 25% off Arc Designs, which are laser engraved. They have coasters. They have full coffee tables. They're a great gift. Go purchase them.
That's why I throw it to Tyler. And now, when he's not here, I will be throwing it to you, Mitch. Well done.
Oh, damn. It's not 25% off.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't do the ad.
See, I was
okay. All right. I'm wrong. Whatever.
All right. We will head to weekly what. This is normally where we would do a weekly what if. This week, we are going to switch things up really quick. We're going to go and give the boys a pop quiz. So they have not been given the answers to this. Although I will be, see, Justin, we actually in the pot, we knew that it was 15% off.
Hurry up.
All right. Pop quiz. Everybody in the chat, you guys can join in here. So looking forward to the FIFA Club World Cup in this summer, 2025 in the United States. Give me in order the top 3 teams with the lowest odds to win. So the favorites, the top 3 favorites to win the Club World Cup in order.
Bayern, City,
Barcelona.
Bayern, Barcelona, City.
You guys did pretty well. I'll give you some credit. You did pretty well. I'm looking at my odds, and Barcelona isn't listed, which is strange because I would have thought they'd be in there.
They're not in it?
I don't think they're in it.
Oh, they're not in it. Okay, that's why. So you did, even missing that, you actually did pretty well. So the Manchester City and Bayern are numbers 2 and numbers 3. You missed number 1.
Madrid?
Yeah. Real Madrid is number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So the odds are Real Madrid at plus 350, Manchester City plus 450, Bayern Munich plus 550, and then there's kind of a jump to Chelsea at plus 900, Inter Milan plus 1,000, PSG plus 1,200. I actually did this last week. I believe that that's probably jumped.
Yeah, I was going to say that value is unbelievable.
That is juicy.
I believe that is jumped. Okay. Hopefully it hasn't jumped in the top 3. Otherwise, it's totally undercut my entire pop quiz. But we won't discuss that. We will move on to Round the World, where the talk of the town, the talk of the internet, the talk of the Discord, which you should be on if you're not on Patreon, you should right now get on Sam's Army Patreon to join the 24/7 footy chat on Sam's Army Discord. The chat right now is focused on the U.S. men's national team and our Nations League semifinal coming up on Thursday against Panama. I think kickoff is 6 p.m. Central Time. So quickly, there's been a lot of movement here with the roster, especially in the last few minutes, it seems like. But going back to the original roster drop, I'll give you the quick and dirty on the roster. Goalkeepers, we got 3. Patrick Schulte, Zach Steffen, and, of course, Matt Jebediah Turner. Defenders, we have Cameron Carter-Vickers, Marlon Fossey, Mark McKenzie, Tim Ream, Chris Richards, Anthony Robinson, Joe Scally, and Austin Trusty. Midfielders, and by the way, whoever the admin is that's doing the midfielders / forwards, I think they're just taking the piss at this point because there's some strange choices here. But in midfielders, they have listed Tyler Adams, Johnny Cardoso, Diego Luna, Weston McKennie, Gio Reyna, and Tanner Tessman. Mikey's newly beloved and part of Sam fan, by the way. Good guy. Forwards, and this is where it gets a little strange. Patrick Adjumong, that's not weird. Yunus Musa, that's a little weird. Christian Pulisic, Josh Sargent, Tim Weah, and Brian White. So the last minute sort of changes here due to injury. So a couple things. Injuries that people didn't make the roster. You're like, where's Serginho Dest? Where's Ricardo Pepi? Where's Fuller and Balogun? Those guys are all missing due to injury. Now, the last minute scratches are Anthony Robinson, Austin Trusty, and Johnny Cardoso. So the three late additions, Max Arfston of Columbus, Brian Gutierrez, Chicago Fire, and Jack McGlynn, newly minted Houston Dynamo player. Okay, so quickly before we get to the lineup, the preview, and all that stuff, surprises as far as who who got called in, who didn't get called in. The one that stood out to me was Alejandro Zendejas, who has been playing very well for Club America in Liga MX. He's been scoring left and right. The big thing with him, and I know he's Tommy's guy, so we're not going to be mean here, but he has not played well when he's come into the national team by and large. I do think he played really well against Mexico in a game where nobody else played well. So I do want to give him a little shout out there. I was a little surprised he didn't make it, but it's hard to take too many shots at this roster. I mean, this roster is pretty strong. It's actually got a lot of MLS guys, which it kind of will probably rub the haters the wrong way. But listen, I mean, you can't really. It's easy to take shots at Greg Berhalter when he was making rosters with a lot of MLS guys. It's a little tougher when you got Mauricio Pochettino. Okay, so Mikey, what are your any sort of big picture thoughts before we dig in a little bit?
Yeah, I think we have a huge fullback problem. I don't like where that is. I love our midfield. I really do. I like the dynamic elements of the midfield, and I'm excited to watch Tanner Tessman. At striker, Sargent's been pretty automatic for Norwich, so I think he's going to probably get both starts, right? I mean, I'm not. This doesn't blow me away. I'm excited to watch the way they play. The roster drop means very little to me. I want to see the way in which they play together. So, I think we could definitely. I mean, losing not having Anthony is a huge difference here. So,
Yeah.
And I think Mark McKenzie has been good. I think Toulouse have had a good couple of years getting up into the French First Division and then staying up. I mean, whatever. I'm gonna learn USMNT this week, which is gonna be so much fun. But yeah, I'm excited to watch a few different players. Me particularly, Tanner Tessman. I've been texting in the group and sending in the Discord that I've been watching a lot of Lyon. Don't want to tell you why, but Tessman has been fantastic. He plays with Matic in a double pivot. He's kind of allowed to roam a little bit more. I think he's going to be more of a deep lying playmaker for us and let Adams kind of ball win. It's kind of a switch on the role that he does at Lyon, but I think he's going to start for us at 26. Wow. So I think he's that good.
In place of whom?
He's just going to be our deep lying midfielder.
And the other two, it's Musa and Adams. It's Musa and McKinney.
Musa's been playing a lot of right wing at Milan.
He's been playing outside. Yeah, I've seen that.
I think he's kind of like a hybrid 8 and kind of a winger a little bit. I think it's him, Adams, and up for grabs on the third spot.
McKinney feels like a staple just because he has been for so long for us, and he continues to improve. Like, you see how important he is at Juve despite their dismal run of form lately. Like, Weston McKennie is a staple into that 11, and for a long time has been a staple in this U.S. men's national team 11. I'll echo Mikey's points that our strength is our midfield. Our midfielders are excellent. Top to bottom, I really like that list. Diego Luna has really impressed me. I think he could make a jump, and we know Pochettino loves him as well. Where we can pull away and beat teams is with Jedi and Serginho Dest. I think they offer us something different going forward that other clubs, other countries just don't have. And that's fullbacks that can carry the ball, that can play with the ball at their feet, make overlapping runs, cut inside, dribble, and just make shit happen. I'd be curious to see what Marlon Fossey does in that role this week. Joe Scally is a little more defensive and will stay back. Yep. So I'm not sure what it's going to look like defensively, but I am interested to see, there are positions to be won on that back four, whether it's a sub or whether it's a starting position at center back.
there are opportunities here for people to really sort of step up. The one I had written down, and Pete just said it in the chat, Josh Sargent. So he has been very consistent for Norwich this season, scoring left and right. Every time not every time, but most of the times he's gotten called up to the national team, though, he's had a tough go of it. There's all sorts of reasons for that. If you look back and see the matchups he was up against, and he played against tough teams and all that, and wasn't getting any service, but he just wasn't scoring. This is an opportunity for him, especially with Balogun and Pepe missing. He's got to take the bull by the horns. He has to score at least one goal against Panama. He has to. He just has to. So I'm excited to see him. I think it's a huge opportunity for him. The other one is somebody like, on our defense, really. I mean, I think that, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Pochettino goes with Musa, Adams, and McKennie in the middle. You could see somebody like, sliding Luna in there somewhere. Or I would have said maybe Cardoso, but obviously he's not there with us anymore. It's a defense where there's a lot of question marks, especially given the absence of Dest and Robinson on the edges. Scally
at right back or something
could. I mean, you could play Weah back there. He's been playing, there for Juve. So I think he's probably going to go with Scally and Fossey. Yes. That would be my guess.
I agree.
The center back duo is another interesting question. That was sort of the biggest question I had coming into this, but then we've had these late scratches, and that sort of throws other things up in the air. I guess some people might say goalkeeper is a question mark. For me, it's not. Turner is our number one. I will admit to being biased, but like Zach Steffen has played well, well enough anyway in MLS, but like I think that ship has sailed. I think that Turner has proven himself to be a better goalkeeper.
Zach Steffen is playing, though.
He is playing, right? That's the one knock on Turner. I think somebody in the group chat was knocking him. Oh, Peaches! God damn it, Peaches! I love you, but we can't have the Turner slander around here. How does Turner get called up? You must just have a tall guy lurking around the training facility you can stick a kid on. That was slander, Peaches. We don't like that. But Schulte's a young guy. I don't think that, I don't think Poch is going to go with him. I think the question is whether he goes with Zach Steffen or Matt Turner. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I would go with Turner. I just think he's a significantly better shot stopper. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that Steffen brings anything outside of that you would be like, okay, this is like a difference maker in some other way.
No, I agree. And I think for a goalkeeper position, you kind of have to do something to lose it. I don't think you can just kind of whittle away.
Right. You can talk a lot of shit about Matt Turner not playing, which is fair. He's not playing that much. He's playing cup games. But like every time he's come into the national team, while not playing that much for whether it was Forest or Palace now, he still comes in and stops all the shots. So
scores all the goals.
He stops them with the penalties. But for me, unless he has some sort of error, and I'm going to knock wood, I just think he's our number one. That's my take.
I agree.
Now back to the center back duo, though. That is still a question mark. We got Chris Richards. We don't have Austin Trusty. He's gone.
Chris Richards is locked.
Chris Richards is locked for me as well. So then are you going to go with Carter Vickers or McKenzie?
I want McKenzie. I want to see McKenzie, but I think it'll be Carter Vickers.
You guys both agree on that one?
No, I want Cameron Carter Vickers, and think we will see Cameron Carter Vickers.
Okay. I don't have a strong. I know McKenzie's been playing really well in France. I don't have a strong take on that one. I think Richards is definitely locked in, but who plays next to him?
I'm letting the last time McKenzie started, which I forget the opponent, but it was one of Berhalter's last games, and it was one of the most disappointing performances. I forget which game in particular, but I'm letting that kind of cloud my judgment when it comes to Mark McKenzie. I'm sure he's played excellent in the league. I have not watched any of Toulouse.
He's also playing in a back. He's playing in a back three.
Oh,
he's playing on the left side of a back three, which can
Is he left-footed?
No, he's right-footed. But playing on the left side of a back three does mean he's probably able to play the left side center back. So I keep that in your thoughts. But
okay. Okay.
It'll be interesting to see what he goes with in that first game. And then up top, assuming that he doesn't, Poch doesn't go out of left field and move Weah, back. I've got Weah, who you'd expect, Weah and Pulisic sort of flanking Josh Sargent, which that's a pretty dynamic, trio.
And I imagine Patrick Agyemang comes on at 60 in one of the games, if not both of the games. I think he has a lot of room for growth in this camp as well. If he shows himself as like the competent super sub, I think he could make some jumps in that striker depth chart.
That'll be interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if Musa starts over Weah.
Oh, interesting.
On the wing, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps. It'll be interesting to see who Poch goes with after Sargent. I do think you're right that Agyemang will get the call. He'll be the next up. But
Mm-hmm.
Brian White is that guy that like nobody ever seems to really sort of rate him. Nobody ever sort of seems to give him any credit, and he just goes out there and scores every time. So I'm a fan of the Brian White story.
He's got Vancouver first place in MLS right now.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And he's like minus 110 every night to score.
Yeah. He's dominating MLS. It's interesting though that he brought Agyemang, he being Poch, brought Agyemang and Brian White. There were other options. Haji Wright being one who seemed to have taken the slight personally and stepped up big in the championship for Coventry this past weekend with 3 goals against Sunderland. But who else? Brandon Vasquez was overlooked.
I saw him, Pochettino, speaking to Brandon Vasquez after the Austin game this weekend. There was a picture of them in the tunnel talking. Don't know what the conversation was about, but he's clearly on the radar. Maybe saying, hey, keep up the form and we'll get you in another camp or something, but he's on the radar.
Okay. That's good to hear. Let's see. Anything else from any predictions for the game? Now remember, Panama is a team that, like, obviously we always have trouble going to anywhere and winning in recent years, but they actually beat us on home soil in 2023 in the Gold Cup semifinal. We've since beat them at least once. I think it was more of a friendly, if I'm not right, or if I'm not wrong. But honestly, it still feels like a little unfinished business here in like this being a real game, real being as real as Nations League gets anyway. This is important. Like, we need to win this game to sort of remind people that, number one, the U.S. men's national team is on the radar and should be on the radar. And I'm talking not like you and me and probably everybody listening to this who are, dyed-in-the-wool soccer fans and, we're going to be watching regardless. We need to win some games to put this team on the radar and on the map with the casual fan, because we've lost whatever momentum we had at the World Cup is completely gone at this point. Pochettino brought us a little sizzle. Now we got to start winning some games and remind people that we are a force to be reckoned with. I just saw the ELO rankings, by the way. They just came out today. Canada is higher than us. They are, I don't know what that exactly is based on.
Whose rankings are these?
ELO, so there's 2 sort of main rankings that come out every so often. I think ELO comes out every month. FIFA comes out with their own it's like quarterly, and they actually, so FIFA rankings have us higher than Canada and Mexico, significantly higher, in fact, or significantly higher than Canada. Whereas ELO, I've actually heard people say they trust ELO better. I think it takes more.
Canadians probably say that.
Well, I'm sure they do right now, but it takes into account more recent results, whereas FIFA is the legacy results from years ago and past World Cups rank or sort of rate heavily in their math. I think ELO is based on a little bit more based on like how they would actually fare today, as opposed to how it's been going for years. So I just thought that was interesting that ELO had them ahead of us. They were in, by the way, Canada's 26th. We are 28th, and Mexico is 33rd.
Yeah, not moving me whatsoever here.
just FYI, by the way. Prediction, though. Do we win this game, Mikey?
Yeah.
Okay. decidedly? Is it like one of those solid wins? You're like, okay, this is all right.
Yeah, 3-4, 3-4.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I also agree. I think we're just a much better team than Panama. All right. It is time to go to stoppage time. Ivan Toney's best bets is where we will start, of course. Got our headgear. I'm going to put the hat on, but this week still comes with a massive, massive asterisk for the overtrain five-a-side best bets, because you got to dig real deep in these sort of in the first week of the international break when people are all traveling and there are not a lot of games to choose from. But because we need some monies, we got to give people some monies. I got some games for you. So on Wednesday, remember, five-a-side, one over a day, Wednesday through Sunday. We're going to start on Wednesday with Suwon Blue Wings hosting Seoul Eland in the Korean Cup. That's right, Mikey. That's right, Mikey. Thursday, and by the way, last week, if you're wondering, oh, should I actually bet on this? We came up with a win. We started out real rough, 0-2 on Wednesday and Thursday. Came back strong on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Finished the week 3-2. So Wednesday we're going with Korean Cup. Thursday we're going to the Mexican Liga Expansión, Correcaminos, hosting Venados. Friday we are going to the A-League Women's Edition. Melbourne Victory is hosting Newcastle Jets. Saturday, my beloved Eerste Divisie de Graafschap is hosting Maastricht. And Sunday, we're really digging deep here. We're going to Peru. Los Chancos are hosting Cienciano. Let's go make some monies. All right, Mikey, what do you got?
So, not sure if he's going to start. There's two guys I'm looking at in the Germany-Italy game to score for Germany. I like Tim Kleindienst. If you haven't been paying attention to what he's been doing at Gladbach, he's been great. Traditional bigs. I'm very on the record on this show and others that international play is just a couple steps below club, and the size and strength of a striker is hugely important. And Germany's the nation who's done that pretty much the best in recent memory. So I'm going to take whatever striker they start, if it's not Undaf, to score in that game. So keep an eye on that. And then I'm going to take Bruno Fernandes to score or assist for Portugal, who are really good. And Denmark's going to be without Højbjerg, I think, who got hurt very recently. And he's kind of their linchpin. If you watch him play for, I obviously love watching him play for Denmark. I think he's an amazing national team player. But I think they are going to roll. And I think Bruno's pretty much locked to score or assist in that game.
Okay. Always digging deep, Mikey, with the individual bets.
Yes,
Mitchell
the
Goulet.
The Korean Cup.
That's true. But we dig differently. We dig differently, but we are digging.
Does it hurt differently when you dig to find these obscure games and you still get them wrong?
It does. It actually hurts a little more when you sort of put the work in and come up with an L.
Sorry, that was a shot. You didn't deserve that. You put a lot of
it's
time
true
into
though.
these. That's
It's true.
Unacceptable. So I generally don't bet on international footy. I feel like it's a little too volatile and unpredictable to. I mean, you also don't watch them. You don't really understand styles and who's healthy and who's going to play in what role. So all this to say, I like Uruguay versus Argentina. Both teams to score? No. I do not think both teams will score in that game. That is going to be a 1-0 game one way or another. And it's going to be decided by a very late second half goal. So that's minus 155. We talked about earlier, Sam, I still have PSG to win the Club World Cup at plus 1,200.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
feels
interesting.
Like excellent value. So hop all on top of that. And then we're going to look at one more on Saturday. I like Bosnia and Herzegovina plus 1/2 against Romania.
Okay. What's the odds on that one?
Even.
Okay. All right. There we go. Let's go make some monies. We'll move on to everybody's favorite segment, especially Mikey. GOAWs time, which stands for, by the way, what does it stand for? Ghost of Tyler Terens?
No idea.
we finally came. Mikey finally learned after however many years we've been doing this what GOAWs mean. This like 10 minutes ago on the Discord chat. It means goatest of all week. By the way, goatest being the play because goat can be bad or good, so it sort of frees us up.
Boycott.
You're not boycotting. You're starting. You're going first.
All right. It's Kieran Trippier.
Oh, interesting.
That's a random.
Kieran Trippier became the 65th player to leave Spurs after 2008 and win a trophy.
You had this saved up. That was well done. Well played.
Harry Kane will be 66 at the end of this season.
God willing.
But yeah, 65 players. Sam, you got dumped 65 times and your ex found a supermodel.
So I guess you're including like Instagram influencers in the Supergram.
I'm just saying that you have been stabbed 66 times.
65.
Sorry, I'm already
65.
counting Kane.
Yeah, I don't know what to say at this point. I don't know how we have gone this long without winning a trophy. It boggles the mind. I put out
2008.
I put out an Instagram post that probably without intending was probably like a cry for help. But I did, that TikTok trend where people say I'm 24 years old and I'm not ashamed to admit, and they go through all their like things that they're
Somebody clip that.
literally ashamed of. I said 24 years old, so I'll go with that. I did 142 years old and I'm not ashamed to admit, and I basically listed all the really embarrassing things that comes with being a Tottenham fan. And one of them was that my sugar daddy Daniel buys me really expensive things sometimes, but it feels like he's only willing to spend enough to keep me around and never enough to make me truly happy by winning something. I actually meant that. He's no dummy, and he knows exactly how much he needs to spend to, sort of keep fans interested, keep us engaged, keep us coming to games, but not enough to actually win something. It's a gift that he has, and I got to give him credit for that, which is my way of trying to avoid actually discussing the fact that 65 players have left Spurs.
You just did.
Yeah, I know. It was my best attempt. We stink. God damn it. We're going to win a trophy one of these years. I feel it in my bones. It's going to be the Europa League this year. I feel good about it. I really do actually feel good about us in the Europa League.
Can I give a quick real one though? Like
okay.
Tiny quick. I was exposed to the first time to the Luis Enrique story about his daughter, and I watched that video that came out this week. I retweeted it onto my timeline of him talking about losing a 9-year-old daughter and his mindset that surrounds this run and the way he approaches his job. And if you're listening to this, real moment, actually find a way to go watch that interview. It's truly incredible, and it makes the whole story with PSG so much more rewarding to watch. So Luis Enrique, an amazing man.
Right. There's more to PSG than just sort of the jokes and the banter and everything nice.
Yeah, you really want to root for this guy.
Good shout. Mitch, who you got?
In the spirit of this absurdly named segment, I got a good one and a bad one. The good one is Desiree Doué. I really think he's a baller, but more than that, I think he's going to replace Memphis Depay as the great comp poster of himself. Memphis Depay, Karim Benzema, guys that post Instagram, essentially music videos of themselves. I don't know if they have a editor on retainer or just have somebody that follows them around 24/7, but it's really, really good stuff. The editing is slick as fuck. It looks like a music video, and he has the sauce to back it up. Like just a fun player. I already, after his PSG performances this week, I went on eBay and looked at some cards of his that I'm thinking about investing in because the dude has it all. I'm really, really high on Doué. So that's my good one. And then my bad one is just kind of broadly soccer Twitter as a whole. And I want to point to this one quote tweet. It's a video of Messi doing what he did this week against Atlanta United, where he takes the ball in the press, drops a defender, and then chips it over Guzan. A goal pretty much only Messi could score. And the quote tweet with 23,000 likes is, does Brad Guzan just play for every MLS team or something? Brad Guzan has played for one MLS team in his entire career, Atlanta United. He's played for that team for the better part of the last decade. So 23,000 people saw this bit of commentary, which was not sarcastic. It was a comment on like, oh, Messi seems to only score on Brad Guzan. 23,000 people liked this tweet where the basis of it is wrong. So just keep that in mind. Sam, next time you're referencing soccer Twitter as like, oh, I hear people are saying this. Yeah, those are the people that are saying that. And if you're ever in a conversation with those people, just keep in mind that it could be one of those 23,000 people that think Brad Guzan has played for every MLS team. He has not.
There is a subculture within and probably without soccer Twitter who they live to shit on MLS. It's like it's Americans, it's foreigners. There's just like it's a hodgepodge of people who come together just to shit on MLS.
The league itself has been an interesting punching bag for a while, and I think it gets a lot of unnecessary criticism that could be better placed on other American leagues in different sports. But we'll save that conversation for a different pod episode.
All right. Good shout. Good shout. My go is a couple of honorable mentions. Got to give it, speaking of ex-Spurs who are out there trying to make their way into winning trophies outside of Spurs. Dele Alli, who came on after 2 years, essentially out of the game. He had not played in 2 years. Came on for Como. So little clap, golf claps there. It's actually legitimately good to see him back on the field. Unfortunately, it didn't last long. It lasted 9 minutes before he got a red card.
It's a tough card.
It was. I mean, you got to be a little more aware of your body. I mean, he stepped directly on who's
everybody on the
cheeks.
pit. Everyone, did you see the text exchanges he had with?
Yeah, nobody thought it was a red card, and obviously it's one of those ones that just looks really bad on replay. You know, he stepped on Loftus-Cheek's Achilles. Yeah, it was unfortunate. Which, you know, Dele Alli, if he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at this point. But hopefully he bounces back from that. Wouldn't be the first thing he's bounced back from. So I'm still rooting for him. Other honorable mentions: Haji Wright bounced back from not getting called up to the U.S. men's national team with a hat trick this weekend for Coventry City. And by the way, Frank Lampard has just completely revolutionized that club ever since we gave Frank Lampard. He was the world's punching bag and sort of the poster boy for, you know, sort of shitty coaches for a while there.
No, but seriously,
listen, he has done really well with Coventry City, so I'm just giving him a quick shout out. Also, the La Liga scheduler / Osasuna, who it just came out that they have games scheduled for Thursday, March 27th, and Friday, March 28th. 2 games in La Liga against Barcelona and Athletic Bilbao. How that happens, I have no idea. I didn't read into it. It has to be a placeholder that will change eventually. But anyway, my actual go is Sergio Ramos. So he showed up to Monterrey in Liga MX and has been playing very well, as you would expect. He's a great player, as much as I hated him for about 15 years there. I always respected him and still respect him now. Now, everybody knows the story about Neymar, and Neymar continued the tradition this year of, you know, picking up a little niggle in his hamstring, or sometimes an ACL rupture, or sometimes a red card, whatever it is. He knows when I think it's his sister's birthday is coming up / Carnival in Brazil. And he always, every single year, finds a way to not play in the game that coincides with that. So he can go back to Brazil and have a little fun. No harm in that. Sergio Ramos, who has been playing very well in Liga MX, picked up the stupidest red card. He just like a guy goes past him and he just kicks out at him. He just kicks it. It looked like he wanted to get the red card. And then you see on Twitter that his wife's birthday, who I believe is back in Spain, his wife's birthday is coming up, I think, this weekend. So he's going to miss the Liga MX game with a suspension, and he can go to his wife's birthday. And as everybody knows, happy wife, happy life. So shout out to Sergio Ramos. coming up, playing the old Neymar card and knowing when to avoid work. Shout out to Sergio Ramos for that one. All right, guys. By the way, I didn't get anywhere near all of the comments that were coming in on the chat. You guys were awesome. Everybody who's in there. Sorry if I didn't get, we didn't address some of them. You guys had some great comments. My apologies. If you're not on the Discord, get on the Discord via the Sam's Army Patreon for a low price of $3.99 a month. Everybody, we will see you next week. Ghost of Tyler Terens / Mikey Fowler, Mikey or Mitchell Gouleg, aka Overtime Mitch. You guys are the best. Everybody in the Discord, not on the Discord. If you're watching or listening at home, love you long time, and we will see you next week. Bigger, better, faster, stronger. See you guys. Well, I did not keep that nearly as short as.
No, that was fun. I'm gonna leave though. I'm already in trouble.
I'm late for my soccer game. You guys are the best. See you guys.